How many technicians are you currently working with in your dental lab? 10, 30, 50, maybe even more. This is an important number to keep in mind, especially if you're in the US, because it can either grow your lab's profit or quietly break it. Let me explain. Here's the interesting pattern I've been seeing after talking to lab owners of different sizes and different specialties. Let me break it down with two labs, Lab A and Lab B. Lab A is growing revenue 30, 40, even 50% a year without adding people. Lean team, margins expanding. Lab B is also growing their revenue with the same case volume. They're doing it with more people, more overhead, and somehow their margins are shrinking. Both labs are busier than they've ever been, but Lab B's profit has been flatlined for years. For a while, I thought it was post-COVID economics. Material costs went up, tariffs, margin compression. But none of it explains why two labs with the same revenue are seeing completely different outcomes. Until I came across this page on the IRS website about the Affordable Care Act. Then I realised this is the invisible force keeping Lab B's profit flat, and it's quietly reshaped dental lab strategy across the country. The moment you cross the 50 employee threshold, the financial math of running the lab changes for the rest of its operating life. Most labs approaching it don't even know it's there until they've already crossed it. Today, I want to walk you through what I've found. What does this mean to dental labs? Why this rule exists? What it really costs the moment you cross the threshold? And why some labs in the US are deliberately staying under it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which side of the cliff your lab is standing on, and what happens next if your operating model doesn't change. Let's get into it. What does this mean to dental labs? The moment a business hits 50 full-time equivalent employees, the IRS classifies it as an applicable large employer. Mandatory health insurance for 95% of your full-time staff. Federal reporting every year, penalty exposure that scales with your headcount. And here's why this hits dental labs harder than almost any other industry. Most independent labs in the US are sitting somewhere between 35 and 65 employees. That's the danger zone, right on the edge of the cliff. And most owners don't realize it because of how the IRS actually counts. They don't just look at your full-time roster. They aggregate part-time hours into full-time equivalents, quarterly averages. So a lab with 42 full-timers and 16 part-timers working 15 hours a week, it's already at the edge, already triggering those coverage rules. This lab owner I talked to a few weeks ago, let's call him Mike. He's been deliberately running his lab at 47 employees. His lab processes the volume of a 65 to 70 person lab. The constraint isn't talent, it's not demand, it's the cliff. He knows exactly where the line is, and he's built his entire operating model around staying on the right side of it. So that's what the line means for labs. A federal switch tied to your headcount that quietly punishes the old way of scaling. But how did we end up here in the first place? In practice, it punishes labor-heavy businesses like dental labs harder than almost anyone. The cost isn't applied only to the new hires that push you over the threshold. It applies to the entire workforce. Hit 51 employees? You now owe coverage obligations across the company. Hit 55, you owe it on all 55. The federal government doesn't see your workforce the way you do. To them, there are only two categories: under 50 or 50 and above. You don't cross the line gradually, you cross it all at once. That's why so many lab owners get blindsided. They think they're budgeting for a few new hires, but in reality, they're triggering a completely different economic model. And that's why the financial impact is so much worse than expected. The moment you step over the 50 employee threshold in a real used case, a $4.5 million lab, currently at 48 employees, hires 7 more people to handle volume growth, now sitting at 55 employees. What did the owner budget for those 7 new hires? About $345,000. Salaries, taxes, workers' comp. But on top of that, You've now triggered federally mandated health insurance for nearly the entire team, federal reporting requirements every year, compliance overhead, and penalty exposure if anything slips. The real cost of those 7 hires? Almost 3 times what most owners would budget. To break even on it, the lab would need to add an extra $4 to $5 million in revenue, roughly the size of the entire lab they started with. And here's why the old hire to grow model starts breaking down. Those costs don't stay flat. Health insurance in the US has gone up about 7% every single year since 2020. So 5 years from now, you're paying 40% more for the exact same coverage. Meanwhile, materials, tariffs, labor, all moving the wrong way. 2 compressions hitting at the same time. That's why Mike runs his lab at 47. That's why Lab B's margins are shrinking. That's why keeping your employee number below 50 matters. At this point in the video, you should know exactly where your lab stands. If you're sitting under 35 employees, you've got runway. If you're between 35 and 50, you're in the danger zone. 1 growth quarter, a couple of strong hires, and you're across it without realising it. If you're at 50 or above, you've already crossed. The math is already running against you. And it's compounding 6 to 9% every year. But here's the thing. There are labs that figured this out early, and they completely changed how they scale. One owner told me recently, we doubled revenue over the past 2 years with the same team size. Same lab, no extra headcount. So that's my findings. For 50 years, the dental lab business scaled one way. More cases, hire more people to handle the volume, leads to more revenue. That model worked until the economics changed. Lab B is running the old playbook perfectly, and it's getting punished for it. Mike just figured out where the new line is and rebuilt his operating model around staying on the right side of it. That's the whole game. So, back to the question I asked you at the start. How many technicians are you working with? And which side of the cliff is that putting you on? If you're anywhere between 35 and 65 employees right now, you do not want to learn this lesson the expensive way. We pulled the full breakdown into a detailed report. The math behind each path, who each one is actually right for, and which one the data overwhelmingly supports. Downloading it using the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.